Keith, disappointing result this evening against Batley. How are we all feeling after that one?
Also an interesting one after the defeat. I'd love to say that we got beaten by a better team, but Batley they did the basics. They completed, they ground it out, and they did what they needed to do. We compounded ourselves again by just creating error, penalties, and the majority of the game was played in our half. When we started building the tempo, when we started building with momentum, which we know we can do, we showed the quality that we've got, but then we compound it with an error or a penalty, and we just allow them to come straight back into our half. And that's probably what the most disappointing element is that we didn't make it an arm wrestle, we didn't make it a competition, we didn't make it a challenge, because we knew that they were complete high, we knew they go through the basics. That's what they do, so they didn't do anything that we didn't expect, and we fell apart at times. We're not dealing with pressure very well, which is something that we spoke about last season. We fell apart in the middle part of the second third of the season. This year we've gone through the second third of the season still relatively all right, and now we'll come to the third part of the season. This is where we seem to fall apart a little bit, and handling and dealing with the pressure is something that they need to enjoy. They need to enjoy pressure. They need to enjoy dealing with adversity, because I love adversity. It brings out people's characters. And as you can see out there, there's a little bit of arguments between each other. They're falling out a bit, looking for excuses, blaming the referee. These things happen, rather than just thinking what they can do as a collective to turn this game around.
Them 3 tries, 22 minutes in, I think we're 16-0 down. We didn't help ourselves at all, did we, with the start we made?
No, they completed, I think, at 83% in the first half. We were 54%. I'm not a big completion man. I'm not big into stats on them numbers, because at the end of the day, it's down to execution. It's down to creating tries. And we've got some quality players that could do that. Yes, they shut us down a little bit on our right. I thought Isaac had been shut down a little bit. They pressured him a little bit, and it didn't allow him to be able to play as much as what he'd like to. But conceding them 3 tries in that first 20 minutes, again, it came off error after error after error. And that's the disappointing element, is the fact that if we'd have just, like I said, I don't want to play a boring game. I don't want to do 5 drives and a kick, but they've got to play the game with quality, skill and execution. And that's when the pressure is mounting, and that's when they don't deal with the pressure. Good teams and good players handle pressure and they execute under pressure. These are struggling a little bit, which is disappointing, because they did at the beginning of the year. So we need to find out what's changed.
How do you help players pick themselves up after a defeat like that? Obviously, we've got Widnes next week. We'll want to go into it. We know it's a big game, but how do you help them try and get back into that winning spirit?
Yeah, it's hard. At the end of the day, you go home, you kick the dog, and you have a bit of a sulk. You don't really kick the dog, but it hurts. It's got to hurt. It's got to hurt, but you can't dwell on it. You can't, they'll go home tonight. Hopefully, they get to review the game, they get to watch it, and they've got to self-analyse it a little bit. And we've given them an extra day off this week, because it's been a tough season. It's been a very tough season, so they're not coming back until Wednesday. So I've told them to enjoy it. I've told them to go away, enjoy the time with the families. If they're going away, enjoy it, because they just need to come back in a more positive attitude. The season's not gone. We're disappointed because we still had second position in sight. And if we'd have boxed these next 3 games off, we'd have been in a real good position to do that. And that's, again, a disappointing element, because a week off for the players would have been outstanding. But that is now slipping away. That's slipping away. And we've got a very tough game against Widnes next week, and then a tough game against Toulouse, and then Bradford. So we've got a tough running for the last third of the season, which is brilliant. But we need to handle that pressure.
And these extra days, obviously, we play Friday. I believe Widnes play Sunday. So do you think it might play to our advantage maybe next weekend if we execute it right and then train well enough to go into that game next Sunday?
That's the idea. Is just hopefully they can just go away, get a little bit refreshed. Because sometimes it's just coming into the same environment week after week after week. It can become a little bit stale. So this was an opportunity to say, right, okay, we can give you an extra bit of time off, which means that there's an opportunity if they want to get away on holiday to be able to do that. You know, with kids, 6-week holidays, it gives them that opportunity to potentially have a bit of a mid-season break, which as a rugby player you don't often get. So they need to enjoy it. They need to enjoy it, and like I said, they need to analyse this game. They need to reflect on it, and then they need to forget about it. We'll come in on Wednesday. We will have a little bit of fun to start with because we need smiles on faces, but then we will get into some hard work because we need to ramp up this back end of this season because the rest of the teams in the top half are getting better and getting better and getting better. So we need to simulate that and emulate that as well. So we need to raise our performances.